And we're live. It's Sunday. Welcome back. It's the red, white, and blue football therapy session. And to be very honest with you, there's a whole lot of us needing some therapy this weekend. Who better to share that with than Stephen and Charlie? Hiya, guys. Are you both all right? Enjoying and lapping up that Liverpool win from yesterday. I have no doubt. I'm going to move swiftly on from all of that. But are you both all right?
I couldn't have had a better weekend, John.
I'm sure you bloody couldn't.
You could have come up and shot a hole in my foot. I'd still have had a perfect weekend. Because I'm going to say it now and I'm going to leave it. It's going to get said. Because Liverpool won and both Man United and Everton lost.
Perfect weekend for you then. Perfect weekend.
All right, so where should we start? Should we just get it out the way? Should we get mine and Charlie's gloating out the way for you, John? So we get it done.
No. I'll let you gloat later in this show. I want to start at Newcastle, right? The biggest story in British football for goodness knows how many years. It's probably since Man City got bought out. And I've got to admit, it came as a bit of a bolt from the blue where Newcastle are now the richest football club on the planet. Mike Ashley is suddenly the recipient of probably enough money to keep all of the places on the high street that he's bought over the past 3, 4, 5 years. And thankfully for Newcastle fans, he's no longer part of the club. And sort of a weird kind of thing. It's, I know there's two sides to this story. I'm not going to go down the line of talking about the human rights issues that clearly do impact upon this. And I would like that to be something that maybe the Premier League will look into as time allows. However, given the amount of money, we've got my favourite manager of all time still in charge. And he got his 1,000 games as a manager. He racked that number up today. And I would only like to think that Amanda Staveley, who even my eldest son describes as being the scariest woman he's ever seen in his life, which is quite something. And he's only 18. He's only 18. And he says she's just got this evil look in her eyes. And I was just like, oh dear me, that's not going to go down with the Toon Army, is it? But the one thing I would really love to say, and this is Newcastle fans through and through, I know I've talked for weeks and weeks and weeks about the passion that they have for the town, the club and everything. And they had the most amazing banner on the Gallagate this afternoon. Just had...
John, I would wait there because you did send it in a tweet.
Yeah.
What I want to do,
it was just brilliant. It was just,
and what I'm going to do is I'm going to download it as a picture.
Okay.
And I'll on here so people can see exactly.
All right. So I'll talk about other stuff while you're doing that, Stephen. You see,
teamwork.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, probably more so than bloody Newcastle do as well now.
Yeah.
But I'll take you back. I'll take you back to last week because actually Danny Murphy, who is pundit on Match of the Day, he's also on a radio show in the UK. Charlie, I know you know him from playing for Liverpool, but he came out with the biggest amount of rubbish. And I'm desperately trying not to swear because I know I sent you this message and I was on a rant midweek. Yeah. As Danny Murphy saying, Steve Bruce is just misunderstood at Newcastle. He deserves a chance. No. No. He doesn't. He's rubbish. It's just like, let's face fact. And Danny Murphy he's supporting someone. And if you're a Hull fan, if you're a Villa fan, if you're a Wednesday fan, if you're a Sunderland fan, if you've ever had Steve Bruce be manager of your club, you know what he's like.
All right, John. So let me ask you a question. Would you rather have Steve Bruce or Ollie Solskjaer as your manager?
Ollie, every single day of the week.
Really?
Bruce is just useless. It was really weird. Going back to we'll talk about the game today. they went a goal up inside the first couple of minutes, which was basically bought by the atmosphere that was created within St James's Park. And it was brilliant. The place was absolutely bouncing. A couple of his midfield players went in with some really quite late, borderline sort of yellow cardish tackles. And he's there on the side, and his only thing is was like, just calm it all down, calm it down. And you'd expect Stephen and I to be big on the calm down bit, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what he managed to do by telling them to calm down, they actually went on the back foot and they allowed Spurs to nip in and score an equaliser and totally take the advantage that they'd actually created away from them. And it sums him up. I don't know, I just think he's stealing the living. And I really do feel that probably the new owners at Newcastle, I'd give them the due. They didn't turn around and sack him straight away. They've given him his 1,000th game. And I think it'll be a nice little, thanks, Steve. You've got your 1,000 games on your way, sunshine. Because these guys are going to be ruthless. These guys, you know, it was interesting, even listening to the commentary. I started off in the car today, and it was interesting because even in the commentary on the car was excellent on 5 Live. And what they were basically saying was the fact that how many of these players will actually be here. And they're not even talking about sort of long term. They're talking about in a matter of sort of months. You get a transfer window
in January, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's just like it has to happen, and it will happen, and I'm pretty sure they'll be ruthless, and they'll be absolutely.
They'll be hanging out pink slips like $100 bills. Here you go, fellas.
I think so, Charlie, and I think for Newcastle fans, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, that the owners actually turned up today, and it must be so nice for Newcastle fans to actually see a visible face in the crowd where the owners en masse were there, which they haven't had. You know, it's been like faceless. Ashley's been there, but the people behind Newcastle have not been there. Ant and Deck were there, obviously. You know, obviously wanting a picture day out. But the whole atmosphere within Newcastle was just one of complete celebration. And when your team turns up against Spurs, and I actually thought they would win today, and they didn't, even despite that early goal. And they just got picked apart. They got picked apart very, very easily. And,
I was thinking
that's why Bruce doesn't do it for me.
Well, I was also mentioning to Stephen before pre-production today, and I was saying, you know, if you're a team like Newcastle, I don't think that you're a normal pressing team, and if you're not physically able and you haven't been preparing physically as a team to be a pressing type team where you have to have top performance. You need to be practicing that day in and day out. You need to be having these guys run. And if you're not that type of team, that's what I thought happened today. Is you're going to do great for 15 minutes and then you're going to teeter out. All you guys are going to be dead tired. And they tried to be a pressing team when they're not a natural pressing team, like just to say Liverpool. Liverpool, you know, Klopp runs these guys to the ground. They even the players say that, you know, you run and run. Yeah. And if you're a team that's not used to that, you're not going to be able to keep it up. But they did great the first 15 minutes.
15 minutes. That's exactly that sums it up entirely, Charlie. It's 15 minutes, and that's what's so frustrating for the Newcastle fans. And I think for them, once they actually get a manager in who will actually understand the fact that fitness for them is a massive issue, because, you know, the amount of goals that they concede in second halves of games, certainly the last 20 minutes of games, and if they could get that squad of players fit, they would be probably 10-20% better than they are. But if they add a little bit of class into the team, which has been underinvested for a number of years, you know, let's not kid ourselves, you know. And they deserve to be still second from bottom in the league, you know, because they were really awful against today. And I thought Spurs weren't much better either.
Yeah, so
You
I've
know?
got something written down here, John, for a comment to make while we're talking about this game.
Yeah.
Is even though they've been taken over now and they're
Yeah.
effectively the richest club, if you
Yeah.
take the owner's wealth into consideration here rather than the club's wealth, the richest football team would have the biggest resources of cash
Mhm.
than any other club in the world. They could still get relegated this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they are that woeful. They are that bad. Like I said, he was mentioned before there about they haven't got the fitness levels, you know, and there's a
Yeah.
few teams in the league that are like that. And I think they underestimate just how fit you've got to be in this league just to survive. Never mind do the tactics of, press, because it takes a lot out of you, but could
Yeah.
they still get relegated? That's the thing, isn't it?
I think with Bruce at the helm, I think that's the thing, Stephen. And I'm fearful. And I said it a few weeks ago. The chairman had to go first, and the Newcastle fans have been very, very patient in not calling for the manager's head because Mike Ashley would never have sacked Bruce.
He did today, don't know.
But
they called for him today.
Yeah, but I can totally understand that now because they've got rid of the owner. They've got rid of Ashley. Now is the time where they can actually get to the man who is affecting the things on the pitch. The thing that really gets me is it's going to cost them £8 million. An £8 million payoff for someone who's robbed a living at Newcastle. It's just like, do you know something? I tell you what, guys, we should really sharpen our CVs. Let's get a posted into any club on earth that's got a couple of quid, and then let's see if we get a manager's job between us, and we're paid off. We're set for life.
I'm telling you, I'm going to say to you, I'm off next week. I'm going to look for the manager's job in the football league. By the way, John, I managed to get the banner ready to go, but I couldn't get it as a whole picture for some reason. The format that you put it on.
No, that's fine. No worries. I'll tell you what. All I'll do is I'll just talk over.
Here's the banner that you were on about, John. This is the banner you were on about.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and this is just such an amazing thing from Newcastle fans, and it just says because this is a mighty town built upon a solid ground, and everything they've tried so hard to kill, we will rebuild. And it comes from a song by Jimmy Nail, and I think it was written by Mark Knopfler. I'd be prepared to be corrected on that. But the song is Big River is just an amazing song at Newcastle, and for them to actually go to the trouble of getting that as a banner today, I just thought was just immense, and it sums up exactly what Ashley has tried to do with that club. He's tried to kill it, and they themselves, the fans, are going to help in that rebuild process, and I love that. I just thought it was a real amazing nod to back to history, and when the song was big. John Hall was the owner of the club, and John Hall was there today, and I just felt that what a lovely sort of passing on and an acknowledgement of the past of Newcastle. And I won't mention the fact that Jose's already put his hat in the ring for the job.
No, he hasn't. This is the thing. He hasn't. He hasn't.
In a Jose way, I've got an emotional attachment with Newcastle fans because of Bobby Robson. And I'm thinking, you know exactly what the man's thinking. They've got money. They'll pay me off. It's just like, no, please. He's the last person on earth that Newcastle need at this particular moment in time.
Let's just pause to say hi to Stacey.
Hiya, Stacey. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
I'm on a Newcastle rant, and I didn't mean to. It's just like,
but they're in a mess, though, John. They've got all this
money. Totally.
They'll get relegated. I still think they'll get relegated because
you can't buy 11 players in January. It's not possible.
You can't, and at the end of the day, what kind of money do you need to throw at players who can keep you up?
Yeah,
be good to go to Newcastle right now, who are doomed and ready to just sink.
Yeah, and I'd also add in there as well, John Joe Shelby. I know I'm slating former Liverpool midfielders here because Danny Murphy didn't do it for me last week, but Shelby again. Your senior pro. you've got to have a little bit of self-discipline to stop yourself from getting the stupid second yellow. And
how long did you be in those 10 minutes?
how many times? It's just scandalous. But go on, let's move. Let's move on. Let's
how long was
something
it?
else.
10 minutes.
So we can't tell Stacy that I have down here the last flake in the house. So she's gonna come down and steal it from me.
Contraband. That's it. Hey, I tell you what. There we go. That's it.
I have my secret stash of English candy, and it's running low.
I'll tell you what, Charlie. I was in Leeds yesterday, and there was an American candy store there. Right, the amount that they're charging in pounds for American candy, and I couldn't even bring myself to do it. And actually, I could pay the shipping. I could buy it from Walmart. I could pay the shipping and get it back to the UK for less than they were actually even thinking about. It was just scandalous.
Because John, what they're doing is they're going down the same route to buy it as you would, or just sticking the markup on it.
I tell you, they're adding a couple of zeros on the end to it, Stephen.
Yeah.
I know how much them M&M party bags cost, and they're not 35 quid. I'll tell you that.
Trust me, I'm partial to a packet of Cheetos myself that you can't get over. If you need a tip, John, on how to get them over, just give us a shout. I'll tell you how to get them over, because Charlie's obviously got his links over to the UK to get his Cadbury's. He's like Cadbury's flake. I'm thinking I can go to the shop and get that.
Sometimes I order through Amazon. Sometimes I go down to our British candy store that has it has other British stuff too, but it's like a half an hour away. But some stuff you just want to order online to get it here quicker, because the Maltesers, for some reason, in those stores here, by the time you get them, they turn white. It's like
it's a heat thing. I think it's a heat thing, that Charlie. I think that's
So it's like So
I know you like the Maltesers. Before we go, I know we're right off piece here of what the show is about. Chocolate and candy and stuff. But I like your Maltesers, Charlie. But over here, there was an advert a number of years ago where someone would lie down and blow it and have it floating above the mouth, and then let it drop into the mouth. Have you ever done that and achieved it?
No, I haven't done that myself. I saw Charlie Borman do that on Long Way Up with Ewan McGregor. You ever see that show?
Yeah.
He did that a couple of times. I was like, "Oh, that's impressive."
Try it.
Tried it myself though.
You can blow it and get it up, but getting it to go back down into your mouth is a trick.
There we go.
Next game.
Anyway, I'm just going to say one last thing about the Newcastle game. The game was actually halted for about 8 or 9 minutes, and what was really impressive was the fact that there was shouts from the stand that somebody having a medical issue in the stands. A fan, just like you and I, it could happen to anybody, and the shouts from the stand and the medical teams actually got across the pitch and really did make a difference. This lad's being taken to hospital and they're stabilised. We don't know any more than that, but again, just one of those things. We're having a defibrillator close at hand, and knowing that you can actually make a difference with a defib is just such a massive thing.
This is something that's close to my heart, John. Because of recent events in my life. And to have a defib close is really, really important. Personally, I don't think they're close enough, because if there was one close enough for me on my day early in the year, I might have been able to save me dad, but I wasn't able to. But I was listening to that, me and Sarah, we had it on the radio coming up. And we were just really, the two of us were in the car really, really nervous for what's going on, because we heard the term defib. And we went, right, we know what that is. That's something we've just recently gone through ourselves personally. And it's, please let this person be fine. And you know what? It sounds like they've stabilised, which is great. So we don't know anything more than that. So it's good news. But I'll be honest with you, it sounds really weird, this. But if it was to happen to you, it's probably happened in the best place because
It,
you've got
yeah,
so many
totally
people
agree. Totally agree.
to help you out straight away. And big shout out though to the Newcastle fans for making sure they knew everyone knew what was going on, because they got the attention of the players, and then the players got the attention of the officials, and that was fantastic. You know, that was humanity at its best that today.
Certainly was. And as well, I think Spurs have been through that as well, because you go back to 2012, was Fabrice Muamba.
Yeah.
He collect. Yeah.
Sorry, John. Go on.
No. It's just that was at White Hart Lane, and he had that issue, and then there was a lad in the Euros as well, and his name totally escapes me for a moment. Denmark player who was a Spurs player. I was hoping you'd help me out there. You know, it's just like Eric. What's his face?
Ericsson. It's just
Ericsson. Christian Ericsson. That's the one. He wasn't with Tottenham at the time, though, was he? No.
He was with Norway or someone.
Yeah, when he played for Denmark, and he got him up one of the Milan teams. But again, just goes to show you, if you get that early enough, then it's a massive thing. Well done to everyone involved today.
It's easy on to get there within the first couple of minutes. I think it's that really important, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Get there and quick, and you know, the sooner you can get that defib on someone, the better, because you can do the pumping all you want. It's the defibrillator that sends the shocks through the body, and that saves the life. So great on that,
yeah.
Good shout out that, John.
So where to next, boys? I'm thinking let's go to Leicester.
He's going to leave us hanging here, Charlie. He's going to leave us hanging.
You see what I'm doing?
Leave us hanging here. Yeah, Leicester.
I don't know. I really don't know what on earth is happening at United. I really feel so much for them. The whole of that Cristiano Ronaldo bounce that they were probably hoping, they spend all that money on his wages and thinking that he's going to add something into a team that's playing half decent before he turned up. Isn't the one. And the wheels have fallen off. They've just lost the shape. They've lost
2 and drawn 1 in the last 3.
They've lost everything. It's just unreal.
He messed up when he went to Everton and sat Cristiano Ronaldo and Pogba on the bench on that day. He totally messed up.
Yeah.
You know, I watched that game yesterday. Well, I watched the second half, and it was a good game of football. But United were just disjointed all over the park.
Yeah.
You know, but Leicester win great defensively, as they showed when Rashford went and equalised.
Yeah.
But Leicester were the better team.
Yeah,
Leicester were the better team. And you know, Salah, if it wasn't for Salah, that goal from Vardy was probably the goal of the week.
Yeah.
Great volley. Great volley.
Yeah. So we're still slipping in the Liverpool stuff, John. So if it wasn't for Salah.
Do you know something, Stephen? You've hit the nail on the head, though, right? So you've got Leicester, who've got Johnny Evans playing centre half, right? Who back in the day at Man United wasn't the most secure of centre backs, and then United turn up with Maguire, we've been told that he's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. He decides that he might as well have not played yesterday. He had an absolute stinker. It was shocking. It was as if he was still wearing the blue shirt at Leicester. They just seem so off what you would expect from United, and I really, Sancho's not playing very well.
No,
which is to be understood because he's new into the Premier League, and that whole thing of the price of his transfer is always going to weigh heavy. Pogba is not, for me, still taking control of the midfield.
No, he's lazy.
But you say that, but there was a positive step yesterday. They didn't play Fred because he was away with Brazil and he came back. So I previously thought Fred was the issue, but he put Matic beside Pogba, and I just still feel it was just like, hang on a minute, you're really condensing that. You're basically playing with a back six, and then allowing the other four to play up front, and it doesn't work. I don't know what Solskjaer is going to do about it. I'd love a United fan to tell me exactly where they feel that they're at, And the other thing as well is they actually got the plane from Manchester down to Leicester instead of get the bus. It's 100 miles, and they got a plane.
It's an hour and a half away.
Yeah,
an hour and a half away.
It's just unreal. That's an aside. Just
for me,
John,
John.
Tell us what you think. Go on.
For me, John, I think Ole's the perfect fit. I think Ole should stay in place. Don't move him.
As a Liverpool fan,
forever and ever.
Right? Keep him where he is. He's doing a great job. In all fairness,
give him time. Give him time. Right?
Give him time. Yeah.
Lots of time.
United are in a mess, right? I said, and my predictions are, and I'm yet to be able to get a way to put it up on the show, and I'll find a way soon enough to put out all three of our predictions up. I said United will fall out the top four, and it'll be Tottenham that take them. And the first 6 games of the season, 7 games of the season, I was thinking, have I made the right choice? But today we've just flipped. Neither of them in the top 4, by the way. Neither of them in the top 4. But Tottenham's there. United were not good yesterday. They were not good. And they've not been good in the last 3 games because they look so disjointed. The manager doesn't have them playing right. I've got some friends who are, colleagues who are Man United fans, and they're all saying the same thing. The manager's not the right fit. He's not at the right level. And that's the reason why they're not. He's not the right level. If they go out now and change the manager to a decent manager, I think the top 4 because they have the squad for it.
So who would United get in? Because they've made that mistake before. They got Moyes in after Ferguson left, and to be honest, they should have given Moyes a hell of a lot more time. They've gone for Van Gaal. They've gone with the big names. They've got Mourinho in, stuff like that. It hasn't worked then either. So who comes into United now?
John,
do you stick with Solskjaer, or do you just twist and go with something else?
They can't do the same thing. If they want to challenge for the title, they want to go up against like Liverpool City. They need to change the manager. And I'll go with what Steve McManaman said on his punditry yesterday. Liverpool and City have set the bar so high in the last few seasons that's the bar. Chelsea for a team that's took that challenge on and took it by the bit, and I can see them going for it this year. Really can. Yeah. United, I think they're a manager and maybe a couple of players away.
I think that's a good call. Comparing it to Chelsea, because you look back, where are we? About 10 months ago, and I think the 3 of us were dumbstruck when they got rid of
Frank Lampard
of Lampard as a manager. But as a club, they took that bold move. They went and won a Champions League. They're now looking a really solid, nailed-on chance for certainly top 3 this season. And he's, Tuchel's transformed that. And that's what United needs. United need that level of risk, but bringing in somebody, I think between 3 of us, we really did sort of go down the line of like, why have you done that? But now, I think we said within about 3 or 4 weeks, you fully understood why they'd done it. They were more organised, they were more compact as a team, and they actually knew the style of play that they were going to play. United just don't. They just basically look as if give it Cristiano and see if we score.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry, Charlie, go.
If I was an owner with lots of money, whatnot, and if all the best managers are taken, like Pep and Klopp and whoever else you include in there, the next place I would look would be one of their assistants. Is any of their assistants ready to jump up to the next level to be a head manager, that would be better than Ollie or, so it's like you look at like, is Linders a good enough assistant to move up to a head manager job? Or even I heard even Steven Gerrard is linked with Newcastle. How is that? Was that a joke or?
I think it is, Charlie. I've got to say that to me that's a bit of naughty journalism. Is that?
Yeah. Because I heard that, I'm like, really? I didn't hear. That's the first I've heard of that.
Hang on, let's look at this another angle, right? It could be a good thing for him because at the minute he's at Rangers, he's doing well at Rangers. He's won the title for the first time in so many years with them. But we all know that the reputation of a manager coming from Scotland, no matter how well they've done, coming to England is never the best.
Yeah.
Martin O'Neill come down, Neil Lennon come down. They never really set the Premier League alight. You need Premier League experience.
Hey, what about Brendan? Brendan came from Scotland, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the other side as well, and I think let's go back to the United game from yesterday. Brendan Rodgers did a job on United yesterday. Let's put that forward because actually he had a team that were organised. They knew what they were doing. You knew that Vardy was going to score at some point. And once United made that same mistake that they did against Everton, and they actually left the midfield really open in the last 20 minutes of the game, Leicester went and absolutely capitalised on that. And it shouldn't happen. If you've organised your team to an extent and you've actually instilled into them exactly what you want to happen for the whole 90 minutes, then you shouldn't be finding acres and acres of space. And Rodgers did a brilliant job. And I know it wasn't pretty at times from Leicester's point of view, but you make Johnny Evans look half decent at centre half and better than Maguire, who they sold for what I can't even remember, was it 70, 80 million? You must be laughing. You really must.
Is it time for the fantasy league half-hour break? Because I have something to show you guys. Because
Charlie, man,
you smashed it this week. You've absolutely smashed it.
So you triple captain Salah. You did it on the week when you're up against me in the head-to-head as well. I'm gutted, because I had a half decent week on the go as well. But you guaranteed yourself the 3 points. So well done. I will be a gracious loser this week, but I'll have you by the end of the season, Charlie. Don't you worry.
That's the victory from my Georgia victory last week. If you remember, I thought I'd won it, and the last minute he just turned it round and he took it.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to speak about the fantasy league because I didn't get a chance to update my team before the deadline, and I was going to put Salah as captain, and I still had Antonio. So today, I'm absolutely screaming for Antonio to stay the ball in the back. Today. Yeah, it was good. As I say, I'm just happy I came there to beat me mum and dad. Well,
there you go. Well done, Harrison.
Bedtime for you, lads. Go on, off you go. Bedtime. Yeah, no. You smashed it this week, Charlie. Absolutely smashed it.
He certainly did.
Yeah, I got lucky with the. I said, if I've been waiting for a game to triple captain, Salah, and just I was like, it wasn't the previous weeks. It was I didn't see him doing as well, but this week I just said it. I was like, yeah, he can do good against this team, I think.
Gents, I'll be back in 1 second.
He did good enough. Yeah.
So I'm just going to add a little bit in here, Charlie, as well, and this is possibly a really good point. I'm not going to talk Liverpool, but I'm going to talk about Watford and where we left off on the last show. We were stunned that Watford had decided to sack the manager, so they get in Claudio Ranieri, who previously won the league with Leicester. What a great thing. Get in a Premier League winning manager, this, that, and the other. Fabulous. But he's just turned up there and they really just were not at the races. And I've got to say, I'll wait till Stephen returns, but Watford were dog awful. In the meantime, did you see any of the Villa Wolves game at all? Probably not, because it's not the top game of the weekend.
No, I don't think I did.
Yeah.
I think I saw Danny Ings' goal. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, just a classic case. You know, we were talking before of teams that just run out of steam.
Yeah.
And maybe not being fit enough. But Villa were 2-0 up on 80 minutes. 2-0 up on 80 minutes, and they lost the game 3-2.
Wow.
And it's just like, and and considering it's like a Midlands derby and things like that, you're just thinking, hang on. That once again, a little alarm bell rings with Villa. You know, they've been caught napping or caught short or something. You know, and they should have. They had that game absolutely done and dusted. Ings and McGinn score. You're thinking, that's it, job done, 2-0. And then Wolves come back and it's just like absolutely bizarre. Stephen, you're all right. We've not been talking Liverpool. I did have a little bit of a thing about Armand Ranieri not even being at the races for Watford. So,
speaking of the Wolves, I also had the Cody on my team. So,
did you? Oh, see, there you go. It's just like,
it's funny how the defenders, right? They get more points for scoring goals than the forwards do.
Yeah, they do.
I was like, whoa! I was like, hey, he scored! Huh? Awesome.
Yeah, you're not complaining. You're not complaining. That's it. I like that.
Everyone was scoring today. I was like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, 80 points in the week is brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. 80 points.
That's the most I've ever gotten, I think, ever.
But I'm with you on Ranieri. He had a bad start to his tenure. But I'm going to go back to what Charlie said about the Newcastle team before, about them pressing 15 minutes, not being fit. The Tottenham players don't look fit. The Watford players don't look fit, sorry. Yeah. As good a Liverpool fan, I'm going to sing the praise of Liverpool. And I thought they were brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant yesterday.
Give me a second. I'm gonna put you on mute. Oh, put myself on mute.
You can't do that. That's just not nice. You can't do that. Liverpool with the best team in the league this week.
Give me a second. I'm going for a drink. I'm getting a drink.
Right. Because we have the best
I need it.
You've got your earphones in. You can hear us.
And you can hear me. That's even better.
Yeah, so I'm going to have a little gloat now, Charlie, then you go after me. Right?
Okay.
Liverpool were the best team in the league this week. Salah is the best player in the world, full stop. He's getting Ballon d'Or. That goal yesterday, I think I must have watched that about 2 million times. There's a YouTube, my father-in-law put me onto a YouTube clip. It's about 3 minutes long, and it's like looking at it from all the angles, like 30 odd angles. And when you watch it over and over and over and over and over again, you get to notice different things. So the first thing you'll probably notice is Milner doing that. You know, he's just got, whoa, what's that? Then you notice, well, after he's done it, how Trent Alexander-Arnold reacted to it. Because when he scores, he does that. Like, oh my God, what have I just seen?
Yeah.
The crowd as well, because when he gets the ball and he does a chink, it's like a way. Then he goes forward and he takes it away and he gets a way, and then he sticks it in the back of the net. It's like 3 days. And I just want to put something up, right? Because we need to understand just how good this goal really was. Let's look at Mo Salah's starting position, right? He scored a goal from that.
Yeah.
He scored a goal from that position.
Yeah, yeah.
How? I've watched it a millions of times and I still ask, how has he done that? It's so quick. If you actually look, there was me and my father-in-law was watching it again this afternoon. And as he drags it back, it's like he's done a change in the gear of a car, right? He's dragged it back, moved it across, and moved it forward. It's just scary what the guy done. But you can see Firmino there, can't you, with number 3?
Yeah.
Right? Any other time, right, on any other goal, you're giving Firmino praise for dragging number 3 out of the way so he can run into this gap down here. Firmino doesn't get a mention, and nor should he, because the individual skill was just unbelievable. You know?
As well, Stephen, as well, we spoke about this in the last show as well. The goal that Salah scored against City, was just absolutely subliminal. And so he's now at this stage where he's scoring week after week. And I've got to admit, it's just becoming a stage where even with a blue hat on, he certainly he's got to be the best striker in the world at the minute.
Go on,
by a stretch.
Go on, Charlie, it's your turn. You throw your pennies worth in, mate. You have your glow.
Well, yeah, it was another awesome goal by Salah. Let me just say. What comes to mind though is okay. So you hear that Salah's agent is flying in right now. You know, after these 2 weeks back-to-back super goals from his client, he's coming in here. He's going to try to request $500,000 per game that he gets. Right? Do these agents or do not see the news? They do not see how Barcelona, how Real Madrid have basically bankrupted their teams by paying these types of salaries to the players. There's absolutely no way in heck, especially Liverpool, no way in heck they're going to be paying anywhere close to $500,000 a game. You know, it's insane.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, you're right. Right.
So I know he's flown in. Yes, okay. Yes, he's the best player in the world, but there's still a team aspect. There's still a financial aspect. You know, if you want to ruin Liverpool in 5 or 10 years, then yeah, you go after your as much money as you can get. But there's no teams out there that can.
Charlie,
do that.
I don't want to jump in on you. You just ruined me. Believe it or not, I make notes for the show. You know, if anyone's watching, I actually do have notes and things. And my devil's advocate bit about just pegging Liverpool fans down a little bit was going to be exactly that point that you just made.
Yeah,
and it's the whole bit about, and I'm totally with you. I really am. I'm completely with you. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Football clubs are there forever, hopefully. But when you start paying individuals stupid money that is completely unaffordable, that's when you put into question the future of any football club.
And the dynasties are formed when these individual superstars give a little bit. They know they're part of a team. They know that they know that they're part of a something really, really unique, you know, and that they want to make that last 10 years or so, you know. It's like they want to be part of that. So they give up they don't ask for $500,000 a week. They try to keep it reasonable while still making enough for themselves, you know, but they're thinking the big picture is, okay, I'm part of a team. Regardless, you don't get those goals without your teammates, okay? I don't care wherever, you know, one Salah is not going to score 10 goals like that by himself, okay? You're part of a team. And it does take Firmino's movement. It does take Salah, I mean, Mane too, you know, bringing these other people, dragging them to the end because they're good too. So they need attention from defenders as well. You know, one player does not make the team, and they got to realize that. And when they realize that, there are some teams that, you know, the players do realize that, like Tom Brady used to give up his salary and stuff like that for part of his salary to keep the team together or whatnot. That's what they got to think, and that's what creates the dynasties. And that's why, you know, if Salah accepts anything, you know, what the team can reasonably give him, this team looks good for the next 5-6 years easily, you know?
Yeah. I couldn't disagree with anything you just said there, Charlie. In fact, I think you just hit the nail right on the head with it.
Yeah,
because
I think.
I was having this conversation. I'm saying to my wife, I was saying to my father-in-law as well, is that, you know, if we don't give him this money, right, he's going to go. You're not going to replace him because he's the best player in the world.
But where's he going to go, Stephen? Where's he going to go?
I don't know.
That's my issue. Because Barcelona,
if he goes,
Real Madrid can't afford him.
If he goes, John, well, City can. Newcastle can now. Yeah. PSG can. So if he does go, and he does go because of that monetary reason, then it'd be greed. And I'm with you. And I'll be honest with you, under the FSG model, right, it's not going to happen. They've got to wait. So that's the way it works. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you. You said something there, John. You know, I can't remember what it was. It was somewhere along the lines, these clubs are around forever, or something like along them lines, right? Let's not forget, right? Liverpool was nearly gone.
Yeah,
because
no,
we had
exactly.
Loose owners in Tom Hicks and George Gillette. Now, Tom Hicks has come out lately and said it was George Gillette. George Gillette hasn't come out in defence. It sounds like a tit for tat for me. Mm-hmm. For me, the two of them are in charge. The both of them are to blame for the club and the mess they got him in. Yeah. We've got FSG in. They've come in and they've absolutely rebuilt the club up, and they do not plough their own money into the club for a good reason. But what they brought to the club, John and Charlie, is a good bit of commercial acumen, because in the 1990s, you've got to understand, like in the 80s, Liverpool was the biggest club in the country, most successful club. Then when the game went super commercial, we didn't catch on.
You mentioned 80s. I'm starting to twitch there, Steve, and you'll get me into 84, 85, and you'll get me into the fact that Everton,
early 80s, very early 80s.
Everton would have been the biggest club in all of Europe had something else not happened. But I'll park that and I'll let you carry on.
Hang on. While we're there, right? I know Everton's most successful period was the 80s, but isn't that when Liverpool was winning everything? But anyway, we'll move on. Right, but you know what I'm getting at, don't you?
Yeah.
Right, so it's one of them for me. You need to just be careful in how you spend your money. Do you know what I mean?
And you got to learn from previous.
Liverpool weren't commercially strong. We weren't commercially strong at all going into the 90s. We still had the Moores family in charge. They weren't commercially savvy. United, they got their owners coming. They were commercially savvy, and they just exploded in size. And clubs like Liverpool and Manchester United will always be able to exploit that because they're massive, they're huge clubs. If you want to look fan bases and judge a club on its size by its fan base, then they're the two biggest clubs in the world because they have the two biggest fan bases in the world. Yeah. And that's what FSG come in and tapped into, and that's why we can afford to spend money. But over the last 2 summers, we've spent nothing. Virtually nothing. And last summer we got a defender to sit on the bench. Yeah. That's it. That's all we spent.
I'll twist that again because actually I think Charlie will probably back me up on this as well. FSG as a group, you look at what they've done with the Red Sox. The Red Sox who are now pushing towards World Series sort of for this year, when they had no right whatsoever in doing that. They got Alex Cora back as head coach at the very start of this season, having previously been disgraced because of his attempts at sort of calling pitches and things like that, and he was banned. But they got him back in, and they've not got probably the greatest squad that the Red Sox have ever had. Yet they're now, they beat the Rays in the divisional playoff game and things like that. They're now playing Houston. But it sums up exactly what they're about. They will not be dictated to by the newspapers. They won't be dictated to by monetary greed. They will go back to the fact that they will get younger players in to try and do the same job. And if Salah moves on to City or he moves on to Newcastle, he moves on to PSG, Liverpool will replace. And Liverpool, people with short memories, Salah, when he was at Chelsea, nobody really wanted him. He didn't fit into the Chelsea mould. He didn't fit into their style of play. He's only flourished since he became a Liverpool player, and I think that's maybe something that Mo Salah and his agent need to sit down and discuss as well. Because
I'm thinking of the FSG model there, John and Charlie. Right, is Salah turns 30 next year. Mm-hmm. Are they likely to smash their wage salary cap right now for someone who's supposed to turn 30?
I don't think they would.
He could want to play to 35, 36, but you've got what I would class certainly one of, if not the best player I've ever seen in my generation in the Cristiano Ronaldo at 36. While he can still play at the top, he's not at the top, if you know what I mean. His quality still drops. So he's going to get past 30. Yes, his fitness and looking after himself like he does, he really looks after himself. I don't doubt that Salah can play until he's 35, 36. Yeah. But is he going to be doing now? I think Salah's hit his peak. I think Salah's now he's at the top. There's only one place to go after and that's good. It's down. So his agent's thinking, well, I can get a really good paycheck out of this. Well, that's fine. But if you're FSG, are you going to go and pay $500,000 a week for a player, right, who's turning 30 next year, sorry?
Yeah.
Or are you going to take the 150, 200 plus million? He could be the first 200 plus million player in the history of the game. What are you going to do as FSG?
Yeah.
I know what I'd do. And as much as I love watching the guy play, I know exactly what I'd do. I'd take the 200 million. You're
Cash
not
in.
going.
That's right. Cash in.
You're not going to. You are saying this to Sarah before. I'm saying it to my father-in-law. You're not going to get the quality back. The quality's going to diminish because at the minute he's at the top of the game. There's no one better. But what you can do is go up and spend good amount of money on the younger ones who are could come in, and they've got a good track record of that, both in baseball and now in the football as well.
Yeah. It's going to come down to what Salah wants. Does Salah want more cups, or does he just want the money? If he wants to if he just wants money and no more trophies or whatever for the next 2 or 3 years, because
go to
Newcastle. But if he wants cups, he's got to stay put because it's just not just his ability. It's where's he going to a new team? Is it going to be chemistry? Is it going to be a great coach? Is he going to have the opportunity? So many teams. How many players have left? Like Fernando Torres, right? Where they've left something so awesome, and then they end up going somewhere and they end up drawing blanks, because they're just not the same chemistry. That they don't have the same people feeding them, not the same players that know exactly where they like to be on the field, how they like the ball, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. The chemistry is just not there. And if he's going to go somewhere, even like Man City, you still have to build a chemistry when you're entering a brand new team, and it just doesn't come automatically. It takes time. And I think so it's up to him what he wants. Does he want more trophies, or does he want $300 million? That does make it a tough choice for me, actually.
Same here,
but he already has all the money, right? He has money.
Yeah.
It depends what you're in the game for, Charlie. At the end of the day, if you're in the game for the love of the game, you'll play for whatever you're going to play. So you'll have like your Carragher's in the world, and even Gerrard.
Can I put another twist on this, guys? Because I actually feel that there's very huge similarities between where Barcelona were at with Messi, probably about 6, 7, 8 years ago. And do you give the guy the massive contract, which then means that you mortgage the club to such an extent that your club is bankrupt? I mean, I know we've said this even a year ago. Barcelona as a football club are bankrupt.
No, Barcelona needs to still be in play.
Yeah, but that's only come because they've had to pay Lionel Messi's wages for a hell of a longer time than they probably were able to do so. And he's then moved on, but it's the same position. Do you pay Salah an absolutely massive amount of wages, which are then detrimental to what you can actually invest and what you can actually afford to do on the pitch? And I think it's a very similar thing, because if Salah stays until he's 36, 37, he's going to bleed Liverpool dry of every last penny you guys have got, and it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in with the business model. It really doesn't.
No, and it's Charlie, you can jump in, mate, but for me, it doesn't fit. It's not right, John. It's just not. It's not what I want. I don't want someone bleeding the life out of the club. And what Barcelona done with Messi was they basically said to Messi, "You're bigger than Barcelona." That's what when they put that contract in place. Yeah. Now I don't know whether I heard a lot of rumors a few years ago that he had something in his contract that whereby if any player in the world got a contract where he was paid more than him, his salary was to go above that, and the contract was to change in that way. Had that change mechanism in the contract. That's basically saying, Messi, you're bigger than Barcelona. Well, no, we have a great philosophy at Liverpool. There's no player is bigger than the club. No player is bigger than the club, and most clubs have that. Your club has that philosophy as well, John. Everton. There's no player that's bigger than the club. You know what I mean? The great Dixie Dean was never seen bigger than the club.
I would say we lost our way somewhere along the lines when Mashiri came in, a lot of people have made a few quid that shouldn't. Iwobi in particular, amongst others. I'm not going to mention the Icelandic midfielder who can't be named for legal reasons at present, who we paid nearly 50 million to Swansea for, and has just like done nothing. And people have taken the mick out of Everton. Everton have been very, very naive, I think is the description. And I hope, again, looking at Newcastle, I hope they don't make that same mistake where they just get in sort of players who are just going to bleed you dry. And
They're going to do it, John. They're going to do it. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, but I don't think that's where the Fenway Sports Group, I don't think, will at Liverpool just sort of bend over and just sort of kowtow to any demands. And that's what I like. There's a bit of strength there. And I think that's where Everton are at the minute. It's possibly where Arsenal are at. I know we've not mentioned Arsenal at all tonight, but Arsenal have been somebody at Arsenal has really taken the mick on the recruitment front for a long time and bought loads of players who are exactly the same style of player, and yet not put together a successful team. There's a lot of it, and it must be so annoying. It annoys me. So it must be really annoying if you're a fan of a club that does that.
And Klopp's always looking for the players that are not coming in for the money. They want to win, and he wants those hungry young guys that want to win and put the team first and whatnot. He's not gonna. He's not the type to have that one big superstar on his team that's just there for the money. And when he gets that,
totally
whenever he gets that sense, he's like, okay, go off, go get your money, go whatever. We don't want you here. We don't need you here. And rightfully so. I think we have the best. I think we have the best academy system too. We have so many good players that come up through our academy and just prove time and time again that they can play on the highest level. Even these 16, 17-year-olds are stepping up when they need to. And we have Harvey Elliott, we have Diogo Jota now. It's like we have some good people in behind Salah. So if he wants to go, we can always just go take from Southampton or Brentford or someone, if we ever need something.
We haven't spoken about Brentford yet. We haven't spoken about Brentford and Chelsea yet. And one player I would take from Brentford is Tony. I like him. He's a good player. He's a good, strong lad, and he's quick as well.
Wasn't good enough for Newcastle though. Don't tell Steve Bruce.
I'll tell you what, though, I watched the Brentford-Chelsea game. I'm only going to go a couple of minutes left now.
Yeah.
But I watched the Brentford-Chelsea game. I'll tell you now, if it wasn't for Mendy, Brentford are coming away with at least a point. Never mind 3 points. At least a point. At least a point. Because they were relentless towards the end of the game. They absolutely peppered that goal. That Chelsea goal got peppered. What I mean by that, Charlie, is it just got.
Yeah. I know what that means. Yeah.
Just didn't know that it was a cross-Atlantic thing that we might have to explain.
No, I didn't get to see that game, and I was disappointed when I saw the results. I was like, "Come on!" I was hoping that they would take a point at least away from Chelsea. But
Brentford were good. They put Chelsea to the sword, and if it wasn't for Mendy, and I'll tell you that he must have pulled off at least 3 or 4 world-class saves, and I mean world-class saves. That he done, and it's just like, well, okay, you have them games where the keeper's going to do that to you, and Chelsea can thank themselves lucky to come away with 3 points today.
Yeah, they could, and I love the way it's just the total freedom, the way they played the game. Yeah. I'm just gonna throw it in the mix, guys. I know we're close to time. Next weekend. What's the big game on Sunday afternoon?
Cannot wait. It's at Castle Grayskull and it's Liverpool v United.
It's just that is going to be something that is something that is going to be some amazing occasion, and I'm looking forward to it because for all this slagged United off, they need to have a reaction. Liverpool just look on fire, and it'd just be so amazing. City, next weekend, I think they've got again. They're playing another top 14 because they're away at Brighton, and traditionally City are not particularly hot when they're on the road on their Champions League weeks. And
Who's Chelsea playing next week?
They've got Norwich at home. Norwich known until they play, haven't they? Norwich 0.
It's 3 points, isn't it? It's 3 points for them.
Well, yeah, you think that, but you just don't know, do you? But yeah.
You don't. What it is, I don't know what's going on with Norwich, but in the games, I've not watched many games of this year. I watched the Liverpool one. I've watched a couple of others, and the only game I've seen them play their best player was against Liverpool, Cantwell. I don't see a lot of Cantwell going on, but I don't know. I haven't watched all their games, so I can't say if it's a. Is he injured? Is he not well? Is he what? What's going on? I don't see him a lot because he's their best player.
Yeah, just another one because I said earlier in the show I was in Leeds last night. I was there watching a band, not watching football. But the people of Leeds, when you start talking to them about the football, they have a little bit of concern, and they've got Wolves at home next Saturday, and I'd be interested. Having seen Wolves peg back Villa this weekend, just be interesting just to see where Leeds are going. They are in that sort of vulnerable position. The 17th, they're just out of the bottom three.
Have they had injuries or
not? They do, but they're not picking points up. And
they didn't have Rafinha this week. They wouldn't have had Rafinha because he was in Brazil.
Bamford was out too, I guess.
Yeah, but they've only won one game. They've won one and drawn 3 of the first 8 games.
They'll get back in the rhythm. They just go through a bit of a patch.
Yeah, it's a bit
strange. 30 days.
Well,
I don't feel that fearful.
They need to correct it. The Leeds fans are getting a little bit wobbly, and for all I've got Leeds to finish top 6 in the overall season predictions. I really feel that they were going to be good enough this season, and at the minute, I know you guys did. I know you guys did. I didn't. But it was interesting, and it was interesting to talk to people who are Leeds fans just to see. They still love Bielsa. They still love the style of football. They still love they'd love to go and win every. It's like the old-fashioned Newcastle way. When Keegan was there, they'd love to go and win a game 5-4, or even lose a game 5-4, because they're going to go and see entertaining football. And do you know something? That's what we all want. We all want to go and see entertaining football.
And they got beat again this week, didn't they? I can't remember who they were playing now. But
Southampton did them, and Southampton were below them in the league. And I actually felt that was a massive one that yesterday, where I thought, Southampton had Ward-Prowse out because he was suspended.
Yeah,
but you thought they would have done something, and they didn't. So fair enough. Southampton again, another one just sort of under the radar a little bit. Pick a few points up, and they're back in the mix as well. And everyone will be talking about them, and we will in future weeks, no doubt.
Without a doubt. I think that wraps it up then, guys, doesn't it? We're a few minutes over, but that doesn't matter. I think we've covered everything. Have I got anything here?
We didn't mention City beat Burnley, but that's probably everybody knew. Everybody knew that was what was going to happen. Burnley.
That's like talking about the leaves on the tree being green. It's just natural.
I'm just going to say it because I'm flagging, but Burnley at the minute they need a point from somewhere, and it's just like
from City. Come on, it was never happening. It was one of them, wasn't it? I think. Gone, do you know what? We'll play the tea caddy. We'll get the high off the stands and just go and play, lads. Go and have a game for Burnley. That's the only. It's one of the same results anyway. Right now, I think that's it. Next week, really looking forward to Liverpool United on the Sunday. I think you could see me being a little bit tipsy on the show because it is a big game.
I might even let you guys start talking about Liverpool for the first.
Well, it depends.
Lead-off game.
If we lose, it's going to the back of the queue.
if you guys lose, I might be doing the show on my own next week.
Both me and Charlie will have a stomach bug. Do you know what, though? Imagine it, though, if we won. If we won, we're 7 points clear of them. Tottenham win, the clear out away from them. United are in trouble. They're in trouble. They've got a real horrible run of games. They've got us. I think they've got City. I think they've got Chelsea. And they've got
Arsenal. Stephen, even if you win next week, you'll still be a point behind Chelsea. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, because they've got Norwich. It's next week's non-discussion point is Chelsea beat Norwich. It's like City Burnley, isn't this week?
Yep.
Right. Anyway, thanks for everyone joining in, and thanks for watching if you watched on the repeat. Please join us Sunday 9 p.m. every week, where we have these discussions all the time. Until then, see you later.